Welcome back, True Seeker. October 10th, 2018. The date that was seemingly foreshadowed in the Economist magazine cover of January 9th, 1988. Last week, we did a big breakdown of all of the hidden symbolism in this cover. The phoenix with the gold coin on its chest saying 1010 Phoenix 2018. Get ready for a world currency. This magazine cover from 30 years ago. And so here we are on 10-10-18, and we had one of the worst days in market history, one of the biggest collapses on record. And oh, you know what? I think I forgot to show you guys my desktop. I think you guys are still looking at me. Let me fix this here. You're supposed to be looking at my desktop, looking at this magazine cover. Let me fix that right now. Here we go. So here it is, that magazine cover from January 9th, 1988. Get ready for a world currency. We have the Phoenix, and again on the gold coin, 1010 Phoenix 2018. Today is October 10th, 1010. And remember, that magazine cover written on or created on January 9th, a date written 9/1, like 91 in the majority of the world. In Gematria, the word Phoenix equals 91. And as I talked about last week when we decoded this magazine cover, Manly P. Hall, the Freemason who shared a lot of Masonic secrets over the course of many years and many books, he said the United States of America was found by a secret order known as the Order of the Quest, and their symbol was the phoenix. Because like the phoenix, it comes anew out of the ashes. Out of something terrible comes something new and better. So, what is it about the number 91 in Phoenix in light of today's terrible market performance? Remember, 91 is the 13th triangular number. That means if you add 1 through 13 together, it equals 91. And lo and behold, today's date, 10-10-2018, it's a date with 13 numerology. 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8, 13. And on our dollar bill, which this magazine says is on its last legs in 2018. Get ready for a world currency. On our dollar bill, we have that pyramid with 13 layers of bricks, 12 here, and then the 13th being the eye. Consider how many points the market fell today, 832. In numerology, you break this number down by adding 8 plus 3 plus 2, which equals 13. You could also take it another step further. 1 plus 3 is 4. What's interesting about 4, in light of today being 10-10, is that 10 is the 4th triangular number, meaning if you add 1 through 4 together, it equals 10. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. Category 4 storm today. We're going to touch on that next. But I got to thinking more about this. So a lot of headlines said 800 points. You know, they just rounded it off. It's closer to 800. It's easier to say 800 than 832. A lot of headlines. 800 points the market fell today. And I just kept hearing it over and over, flipping through the channels. So I wonder what 800 points equals in Gematria. And sure enough, it comes to 216, the product of 6 times 6 times 6. October's the lone month with 666 Gematria. Dow Jones has that 666 Gematria. Dollar sign has that 666 Gematria. Recall earlier this year on 2/2, February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year, the Dow collapsed 666 points. And if you missed my breakdown on that, I believe that video is still floating around somewhere on YouTube. But 666 is very specific to February 2nd. And perhaps I linked that post and we can look at it here in just a moment. But it got me thinking some more. I wanted to measure from February 2nd, the date of the 666-point collapse, to today, the 832-point collapse, even bigger. And what I noticed is it was a span of 251 days. If I didn't do the span, notice it's 8 months and 9 days. This is the span. If I didn't do the span, it was 8 months and 8 days later, kind of like how that magazine cover where we started is from the year 88. But the span of 251 days jumped out at me because that's the 54th prime number. And it made me think of something. I got a lot of these Gematria numbers stuck in my head. And I knew that King Solomon was one of those words that had Gematria 54 in two of the four base ciphers. King Solomon, Solomon's temple, the temple made of gold. And this Bible verse here, 1 Kings 10:14. The weight of the gold that Solomon received yearly was 666 talents, another 666. And in alchemy, gold symbolizes the sun. And supposedly our money's backed with gold, right? We all know, well, I shouldn't say we all know. Those of us who are awake know that that's not really the case. The only thing really backing our money is our faith in it. But with regards to gold being represented, or excuse me, gold representing the sun in alchemy, it is also interesting to note that the word sun has Gematria 54. And think about how the sun dictates time. And as we've been exposing the people who control the market and give us these magazine covers and plan these intentional collapses, they do everything by a code that's in accordance with time, as well as this study of letters and numbers, which comes from Kabbalah. Again, Kabbalah says God created the world by merging the letter with the number. In case you're new here, the word God, the word dollar, the word bank, they all have Gematria 26. Think about in God we trust on the dollar bill. If you haven't read my book, the opening chapter is why there are 26 letters in the English alphabet. That book is linked in the description of every video I make. So, thinking about King Solomon and potentially this being part of the riddle of the collapse today, synced up with the February 2nd intentional collapse by the numbers, it made me go, oh, yeah, just yesterday. And actually, it was a headline today, right? But it happened yesterday. This morning in the news cycle, it was a former personal assistant to Goldman Sachs Group Incorporated Chief Executive Officer David Solomon killed himself on the afternoon he was told to plead guilty to stealing more than $1 million in rare wine from his former boss. Nicholas DeMeyer, 41, jumped from his room on the 33rd floor of the Carlisle Hotel. If you were awake on 9/11, you probably did some research on the Carlisle group of powerful executives, including George Herbert Walker Bush, while his son was the president, that were having this meeting at the same time 9/11 was going on. But anyway, this was the 33rd floor of the Carlisle Hotel on East 76th Street around 14:30 military time, 2:30 in the afternoon. New York City Police said. So, in light of the whole King Solomon thing, this man was 41 years old. King has the Gematria 41. Notice the Gematria of Carlisle on the four base ciphers. I see a 76. They said 76th Street. Blood Sacrifice has that Gematria 76. I see a 41. He was 41 years old. I also see 113, and we talked about this last week when we decoded the Economist cover. Economist has the Gematria of 113 and 41. 41's the 13th prime number, first of all. 13, we talked about how today has 13 date numerology, the Phoenix, its connection to 13, the money, the connection to 13. So 41, the 13th prime. 113 is the 30th prime number, the 30th prime. And from 1988, the magazine cover, to 2018, right now, is 30 years later. And here we are again on 10/10/18. Keep in mind, today's date has 58 numerology, like Freemasonry, like secret society, also like Solomon's Temple. The majority of secrets of Freemasonry and Solomon's Temple. Come back up here for a moment. Let's just go back and look at what was interesting about the 666-point collapse on February 2nd. sure you recall these headlines. Jump out number 666. $ 666, Dow Jones 666. If you write out 666 as a word, it sums to 156 like 33. February 2nd's the 33rd day of the year. Dow Jones also has the Gematria of 33. February 2nd has the Gematria of 156. And then again, today's collapse in the month of October, the only month with 666 Gematria. So there's some other points that are interesting here. As I was saying, and these codes are all biblical. King Solomon, biblical figure, important figure to Masonry, Masonic symbolism all over the US dollar bill. It's not hard to see who's behind these stunts in the media with the market. We're living in their world. This world's a big Masonic sandbox. At least we weren't Nicholas DeMeyer, huh? All right, so let's switch gears a moment. Let's talk about the other big story today, Hurricane Michael making landfall. And we suggested why this might be the day when this news broke some days ago, why it might land on October 10th and what it had to do with 52. And true to form, they're coding 52 all over this story again. Landfall. Hurricane Michael comes ashore near Mexico Beach, Florida, as a powerful Category 4. Mexico Beach already flooding. Look at Mexico Beach in Gematria in light of hurricane and in light of Book of the Law. Book of the Law is the same as the Torah where the biblical flood is. Mexico Beach 52, Hurricane 52, Book of the Law 52. In the reverse reduction cipher, they're all 56. And the Book of the Law, if you write it that way, also has Gematria of 239, which is the 52nd prime number. It's a name for the Torah. Torah in Jewish Gematria is also 239, the 52nd prime. And today, October 10th, syncs up 52 days before Rick Scott's birthday, who was born in 52. He's 65 years old right now, like how Florida equals 65 with the alphabetic order. Let me just pull up the Gematria calculator and let's just break it down to the original two ciphers that I taught when I started in 2013. The alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. Rick Scott, 65. Today, 10, 10, 18. 10 plus 10 plus 18, a date with 38 numerology. Florida getting rocked today by the numbers. But here it is. It's 52 days from his birthday. Flood, Earth, Gematria 52. Again, Hurricane 52. Mexico Beach, where it made landing 52. And just what are the odds of it being 52 days from the governor's birthday, born in 52? I mean, just think about it, especially in light of the fact that I wrote a book, that released earlier this year saying how learn this pattern of weather warfare by the numbers and see how they repeat these same things again and again. And even before I wrote that book, just going back years, I've been pointing out these same persistent patterns, these same sick rituals. Now, I had to look even more at Mexico Beach's coordinates, the 29th parallel, the 85th meridian. Flooded has that Gematria of 29, which it is. Remember, this was yesterday. Monstrous storm. This was the headline yesterday from CNN. Monstrous storm aims for the Florida Panhandle. And remember, this is the work of military technology, HARP, cloud seeding, mad chemistry. Monstrous storm, they emphasize. Monstrous storm has that Gematria of 239, the 52nd prime. Tomorrow is going to have 59 date numerology, and I bet the flooding's even worse tomorrow. 139 is a big Freemasonry number, but look at the 85. The 85, and this is targeting the Florida Panhandle, which equals 85, like how the flood equals 85, like how storm equals 85. They're saying this is the worst in a century for this region. And lo and behold, where it makes landfall is right on the 85th meridian. Another number we've seen again and again. So here's landfall. That they use this headline for much of the day, landfall. And what jumped out about that was the 62, the 26. There's probably some of the 154 that I'm forgetting about. But the 62, the 26, the 46 all jump because flooding has the Gematria of 46. Torah and Elohim have the Gematria of 62. Elohim causes the flooding in the Torah. And in Hebrew, flood has gematria of 26 and 62 as well. Keep in mind today's date, also 58 numerology, biblical 58. Fits in there with what we were just talking about with the market. Solomon's Temple. Just in case you're new here, we'll go all the way down to this cipher right here. Freemasonry 58, Secret Society 58, Solomon's Temple 58. Came out of the Rosicrucian order 58. King James, who has a Bible in his name, he was a Rosicrucian and a Freemason, dead at age 58. Thanks for the Bible, James. By the way, James has Gematria 33 like Bible. Good name there. King James, King Solomon. Don't ask me why people trust kings so much. The other thing is, in terms of biblical, today's 1010 in Jewish Gematria, Revelation's 1010. You know, what's it say in Revelation? In Revelation, it says, the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews, they'll be in control in the end times, whatever times those are. And again, I got to emphasize it one more time. If you have Comedy Central, please go and watch the roast of Bruce Willis. The reason I want you to watch the roast of Bruce Willis on Comedy Central is because the host, early in the presentation, I forget which person he's making fun of, but he says to him, if your name was any more Jewish, it would control the weather. And they all laugh so hard. And I think, come on, that joke's not even funny unless you know something that's absolutely sick and you're a part of it, you know? If your name was any more Jewish, it would control the weather. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, very recently, the roast of Bruce Willis. You got to check it out. And if anyone's out there who has the ability to get a clip of him saying that, if you could do that and upload it to YouTube and let me know, maybe through an email, send an email to Gematria Effect News, just like my account name, Gematria Effect News @gmail.com. If you could say, hey, here's the clip of Joseph Gordon-Levitt saying that, I would like to share that clip the next time I have to do a weather warfare video. If your name was any more Jewish, it would control the weather. What does that mean? It's weird how I pretty much asserted that that's what's going on in my book. Or is it? Also, for the person who asked earlier, could I please look into the 1953 North Sea flood in Holland? Gladly. This happened January 31st, 53. Remember, it was 1952 that world militaries first admitted to weather warfare. In 52, flood, earth, hurricane, 52. But that was a date with 85 numerology, like how the flood's 85, like how storm's 85. And as we talked about earlier, flash flooding equals 311 in Jewish Gematria. Over there, in that region of the world, they write the date January 31st, 31/1, 311, like how they got flash flooded. So this is what I mean. They've been doing this stuff for a long time, and it's just getting more and more sophisticated. It's getting more and more targeted. You know, it's not an accident the storm landed right on Mexico Beach by the numbers. Rick Scotty's done this so many times now. Well, I shouldn't say he's done it. He's just a little puppet on the chessboard, but so many times now the storms have been so perfectly coordinated with him. And the other thing I noticed that they do with these storms in recent years is it seems that they make them scarier than they actually are, and then they over dramatize it on TV. And I mean, they do show us some destructive stuff, but we just live in such a weird time now, you know? There's such good technology to create artificial visuals that look real, and I mean, it's hard to tell what's real on TV. All the people commenting, I have a number of people commented on the last video that I did from the Panhandle, and they said, so far it's not so bad. There's a lot of rain and wind, but it's not what they're saying. So, you know, fear sells out the store. Home Depot's probably sold out. The grocery stores are sold out. Probably everyone gassed up all their cars. You know, I'm sure a lot of money moved through the economy in the region. Everything comes back to money in this world. We're living out the big banker tyrant agenda. It's like why back at the founding of the country, they said if we ever have a central bank, it'll be a nightmare here. I think they were right. I think they were right. These central bankers are something else. All they care about is people being in debt and making a living off of everyone's debt and suffering. So I think today was just the start of what's coming. See what else happens throughout October. We might have an even worse plunge yet. Why is the market up so high? They just set us up for the fall. There's no reason for the market to be in the 20Ks anyway. Wasn't that long ago that, the market was around 10K. How in the world did it get up to 26,000? And like I said months ago, it'll never get above 26,000. That number's too symbolic. Gone 26, dollar 26, bank 26. Got to learn your 4-base ciphers. Here it is right here. God with the alphabetic order, 26. Dollar with the alphabetic order in rules numerology, 26. Bank when you flip the alphabetic order around in rules numerology, 26. 4-base ciphers. So these are the updates for now. I want to let you guys know that the contest I had to give out the free books, I ended up giving out way more free ones than I said I was, but pretty much been sending away free books all afternoon. So the contest is over. Thank you to those who participated. Would have been nice if you guys could have purchased it to contribute to the sales number, because we got to reach that goal to convince the publishers to put it in print. But it's nice to get the book into more people's hands. So congrats to those who won. Before I go, I guess I'll check and see if anyone's got any good questions in the comments. If not, I got to hit the road here and get ready for tonight's radio show. If you don't know, I do a radio show every Wednesday night, Truth Frequency Live Radio, every Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that's on the West Coast. So you got to do the math for your time zone. I'm out here on the West Coast, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. out here. Somebody asked me why Marty Leeds lost his shit, and so from what I understand is Marty Leeds lost his original channel, Marty Leeds 33, and he's probably really frustrated about that. And I think because his channel got deleted, I think he's just really angry, and so he's kind of at a low point for himself. And I got to tell you guys, I talked to him a lot before I came out and responded to him, and I was like, dude, if you're really after Zionism and exposing the tyranny, I said, I don't know why you're coming after me. And he kept just like cutting me off and saying, because all you do is bullshit, man. You make this work look stupid. And I'd be like, I don't know how you can say that. Like, my work speaks for itself. The things that I've exposed, they come true again and again. If you're going to say that my work's bullshit, what are people going to say about your work? And he wasn't really willing to have like a decent conversation. So I'm trying to figure out what Marty's deal is too. I mean, if he's going to come out and speak against Zionism, I'm fine with that because more people need to. But then if at the same time, at the other side of his mouth, he's going to say that my work's bullshit and I'm making the community look dumb, that doesn't make any sense. So I think he's just frustrated about a lot of things right now. He lost his channel. I don't know why he's starting fights with Derek and I, though. I mean, it's not helping him out. But pretty much what I was saying to him is, look, man, I mean, if you get on board and start doing, the work I've been doing for years, you'll probably have an even bigger following. And I said to him straight up, I said, you should know that because, look, man, you've been here longer than me, and it didn't take long after I arrived for me to pass you in subs and get a lot bigger following than you. So I don't see why you wouldn't want to come on board with what we're doing over here. I don't understand why you'd want to pick a fight against this. It doesn't seem like a wise business move. And I said, it's obvious you're a businessman, Marty. So I don't know. I just assume that he's acting the way he is because he's angry. So he's just lashing out. And He essentially, I mean, admitted to me that he's a child because he said he didn't want to have a debate about the relevance of our research. He said all he's willing to do is have a spelling bee. And he said, come on, that's what children do. And I was like, yeah, exactly. That's what children do. Let's do what adults do and let's have a discussion and work things out. But he's unwilling to do that. He's only willing to do a spelling bee, which in his own words is what children do. So I don't know. He's kind of confusing me a little bit. But again, I think his recent behavior has a lot to do with again the loss of his channel. And the reason my mind just froze up is because I'm seeing in the comments 8.6 earthquake in Russia just now. So I just got to verify to see if this is true. Well, let me try Russia earthquake. That didn't bring up anything. See a magnitude 6.3, 4.5. Looks like this 8.6 number might be overstated, and there's a huge difference between an 8.6 and a 6.3. Um, you know what it makes me think of, though, just an earthquake on this day? A lot of times we'll see earthquakes on dates with 55 numerology, and 55 is the 10th triangular number. It's also the 10th Fibonacci number, 55 is. If you write out earthquake, it has Gematria 55. Same with military in that cipher. And consider Russia as another nation with the United States that did a lot of above and below ground weapons testing. But Fibonacci is also 55 in that cipher. The Fibonacci number is numbers of God. It's the 10th Fibonacci number is 55. And again, if you add 1 through 10 together, it's also 55. So well, Derek's calculator is having a little bit of trouble right now, but that's my first thought looking at it. And I'd have to look more at the coordinates and do some more decoding, but I will. I'll look into it before the radio show. I'm sure I'll talk about it on the radio show tonight. But whoever gave you that 8.6 number, I think they're trying to get attention. Also, for the mods out there, I'm just getting tons and tons of people who are reaching out to me that they're frustrated that they got banned from the chat. All sorts of people saying, like, Zach, I've always supported your work and I even bought your book and now I'm banned from the chat. I'm just like, well, I'm sorry. I don't know what you were doing in there, but you must have pissed off the mods. So. Uh-oh. The chat skipped on me again. It looks like it's, where was it at? Well, I lost my place in the chat. Yeah, Wall Street does have the Gematria 63. Yeah, that's true. A 6.3, Wall Street collapse, Russia. That is interesting. That was part of how last year they were coding all these 63s. Remember last year who were following me? They're just coding all these 63s in the news. And I said, watch the dates of June 3rd and June 30th and just see what happens. For some reason, they kept coding 63. And then lo and behold, there ended up being a shooting at the London Bridge on June 3rd. And then in New York, there was a shooting at a hospital on June 30th. And I was wondering then if it might be some sort of economic signal. Let's see. God, I hate how this thing skips. Somebody says the moon is in area 51. If you type in moon in Gematria, you'll see moon equals 51, like conspiracy. like federal. Thanks for just buying the book, Carlton. I did see in the last 23 minutes there's been 3 purchases, so thank you. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Brandon says he's only been banning the flat earth trolls and the people calling me Greenblatt. I have a feeling that some of the people getting banned are probably like flat earthers that follow me, and I don't know. Flat earthers, it's just like they have one track minds. They just want to talk about the flat earth all the time. Hey, Frank. Yeah, I wish more people could afford the book as well. I thought they would be able to. Most of the people who apply for the book for free write and say they're students, so they don't have any money. And that also kind of makes me sad too, because I'm like, they're spending thousands of dollars right now to go to school, but they can't come up with $5 more for the book, huh? I give it to them anyway. Yeah, that War Drummer channel is obviously fake. Any channel that posts a video and has like 10,000 views in 2 minutes is not a real legit channel. No one gets views like that. Um, and War Drummer is another one of these Donald Trump channels. I mean, anyone who's promoting Donald Trump is not someone worth following. You know, it's someone who doesn't have a clue. Thanks for waking up people to the work, friend. I appreciate that. Yeah, Matthew Nicholson's work's good. Absolutely. The stock market didn't crash, it just had a big fall today. I mean, it's still way up there, but I think there'll be a lot more big falls coming. We got Humpty Dumpty as the president. Don't forget it. Humpty Dumpty 58. That's a good. Hey, I didn't think about that. Humpty Dumpty. We've been talking about that riddle. How Humpty Dumpty's 58. Trump, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election. Today's got the 58 numerology. After Trump did his convention at Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Quicken started running that commercial of Humpty Dumpty on the wall. Yeah, all this Q stuff is all it's all misdirection. Everyone falling for the Q stuff is just getting put back in the box. You know. I see my man Jerry is here under his code name. JD Green thinks I've been live for 4 hours straight. I haven't. I took a break. I just came back on to do some updates on the market and the Hurricane Michael making landfall on Mexico Beach. Yeah, yeah, I'm just not even gonna talk about it, but yeah, that certain part of the truth community that's all fallen for the psyop, they don't realize how, their exuberance for the psyop that they think is the truth is what makes all of us look so dumb. But that's why they do it to us. Dome of the Rock is 666 nautical miles from Israel. I don't I don't think that's correct, but I'll look up that. That doesn't make sense to me. No, Barack Obama is not going to be the president again. I remember how that was the whole truth community. Barack Obama will never leave the presidency. He will be the eternal president. I was like, nope, that's not going to happen. You guys are all wrong. And now it's come back that he's going to return as the president. Nope. Michelle might. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to bring Michelle back, but it won't be Barry. I saw today Joe Biden was in the headlines. Joe Biden, who had his whole family murdered for his political career. Don't ever forget that Joe Biden was the 47th vice president, the big presidency number. Today's headline was that he's not running for president yet. Today's the span of 42 days from his birthday. Brandon, Robbie can't respond to you because I put him in timeout. That guy annoys me. He's been crying to me through email too, saying, I don't understand why I'm banned. Well, I just put him in timeout again. It's because he's so annoying. All he does is come here and talk about the same stuff that has to do with nothing. Ron Fry wants to know why I charge for sports picks. Ron Fry, I don't gamble. I live in the state where gambling is super illegal. I live in Washington State where there's the most laws against it, and I don't like gambling. So I mean, people like you who are, essentially crying that I'm charging $5 for a ton of work each month. My question to you is, why are you such a joke? That's my question for you. Why are you such a joke, Ron Fry? Doesn't sound like you love my work. Sounds like you love being a moocher. I let you guys mooch off me for 5 years. Now you cry. I can't afford $5 a month, but I'm a gambler. Please. I don't need your love around here. That's for sure. You guys always ask me about other people's work. Honestly, I don't have time to look at other people's work. You know, most other people's work is just a waste of my time when I look at it. I think, what am I looking at this for? It doesn't expose anything. So there, that sounds more like it. Dome of the Rock is 666 nautical miles from Mecca. That might be true because I was like, how? It's in Israel. I mean, what part of Israel are you measuring from? Okay. Ah. I won't be surprised if Oprah runs. I will not be surprised at all if Oprah runs. I know she said she wasn't, but so did Barack Obama. He said he wasn't going to run either. Then he did. Thanks, Daniel. Glad to hear you appreciate the book. I was surprised that as I was reading it today, I found two typos. I was thinking, oh my God, where'd these typos come from? Before I put it in print, I'm going to have to read it over one more time. I thought I had all the typos out of there. Well, I did tell Marty that he could call in tonight and we could do the Gematria spelling bee, but we'd also have to talk about the relevance of our work. So I don't know if he backed out. He knows where the show is. His quote was, I said, you know what time my show is on Truth Figures Here? He goes, oh, yeah, I know. He goes, the other thing I know about you is you're always online. I said, well, I work hard. Why are you hating on that, man? I thought you were trying to expose the cabal. Can I give you a brief summary on my book? Here's what I'll do. I'll come here. My book is here. We'll just go over this part right here. So this is what I wrote at the beginning. Introduction to reader. Those who read and finish this book will gain a new skill and set of knowledge that will empower them for the rest of their life in more ways than can now be appreciated. Without the knowledge contained in the pages ahead, there are doors of understanding about the past, present, and future that can otherwise not be attained. This knowledge is owed to every person living, adult, and child. It is as simple to learn as elementary arithmetic and as deep as time. My intent as your teacher of this age-old secret is to be as clear, logical, honest, evidence-based, and intriguing as possible. My hope is you will share this knowledge with your family and friends after you finish reading. The structure is as follows. So there's a short one-page dedication. The next chapter is why are there 26 letters in the English alphabet, which is a chapter that could easily cost a lot more than $5 alone. The price of admission. If you're not aware, the book's 773 pages long, and it's just $5 right now. I'm going to raise the price once. Here, I'm going to take a sec. I can only see through my phone when I look through my phone how many copies are left. I just want to see how many copies are left at $5 because I am going to raise the price. Too many people have told me to raise the price. They think it'll sell better, and I'm willing to try that out as an experiment to see if it does sell better. So right now it's $5, and funny, at this exact moment, there's 213 copies available, left at $5. And, you know, at the rate it's selling, that means it'll probably last 4 or 5 more days. Some days it sells more than others. It could go faster than that. But after that, I'm going to raise the price. I haven't decided to what. But anyway, so the first chapter, why are there 26 letters in the English alphabet? The next chapter is the 4 foundational English ciphers. Just like how when you go to gematrinator.com, the base ciphers come up. And this was how I asked Derek to set up his calculator. I said, can you make it so that these are the 4 ciphers that pop up when people decode? Because when you learn these, you know, this is where it's at. Words that have relationships have a lot of overlap in this cipher. Again, like witch and broom, the exact same in all 4 ciphers. Judge and gavel, the exact same in all 4 ciphers. So it's very clear that the English language was built with these ciphers in mind, but there are other relevant ciphers that further add on to the study. So you learn the 4 ciphers. For those of you who are interested in taking Gematria school last night, even though you missed last night's first lesson, if you sign up for it, you can go back and watch yesterday's lesson. You'll learn a ton if you watch the video that we did last night as a live group. But again, you don't have to watch it live to get it. You can watch it anytime after as long as you're signed up for my Patreon page, which is also linked in the description. And if you haven't bought the book and you want to pay $11 for Gematria School, you get a free copy of the book. So that's another way to get the book. But So you learn the four foundational ciphers. Then with that, we talk about Revelation 13, 18, and all that can be extracted from it with these four ciphers. And it's mind blowing. And Revelation 13, 18 is where it talks about the number of the beast, 666. Then after that, we talk about the complementary ciphers, the other crucial ciphers on the Gematria calculator, one's worth knowing. Chapter 5 is numbers as language, the meaning of the numbers 1 through 10, 11, 22, and 33. Chapter 6 is sacred geometry. Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, means geometry and language, and there's a huge overlap with sacred geometry and gematria. So that's what that chapter is about. Chapter 7 is about Hermeticism and alchemy and the 7 classical planets and what it has to do with the code in our language. Chapter 8 is about the Kabbalah tree of life and all the interesting things we can extract from that. Chapter 9 is about the Greeks' geometry, gematria, isopsophy. Isopsophy is what the Greeks called coding numbers into words. And the mathematics of the Bible and New Testament. Chapter 10, who are they? Rosicrucians, Jesuits, Freemasonry, King James, Francis Bacon, and the USA. And then Chapter 11, about the history of Washington, D.C. by the numbers. Chapter 12, the Twilight Zone, the United States of America, NASA and science. Shows you how NASA does everything by this code, absolutely from the beginning. Chapter 13, trumped, rigged elections worldwide, and the 8 U.S. presidents to die in office. Very long chapter. It's like a book in itself. Chapter 14, the Crusades, war and world war by the numbers, plus the U.S. military corporation. Chapter 15, September 11th, 2001, tarot cards, skull and bones, and the military-industrial complex. Chapter 16, contrived Islamic terrorism and false flags in public places, schools, theaters, concerts, malls, etc. And I meant to say coincidences in public places. Google platforms aren't too friendly to the FF word. Anyway, Chapter 17, the dead Kennedys and an eerily familiar family pattern. All of the Kennedy deaths. And now if I could add on to that chapter, because now we just had AFK's nephew die at age 63, like how he died in 63. He died on a date with 90, or he died on September 6th at age 63, like how JFK died on a date with 96 numerology too. So that's just what I mean. Everybody's deaths in this family are all interconnected. And since I wrote this book, now we have his nephew to further build on the pattern. Chapter 18, hate, how racial division has been programmed by mainstream media purposely for decades. How racial divisive propaganda is contrived in the media by the same repetitive codes and numbers. Chapter 19, weather warfare by the numbers. I was reading that today in the video I put out this morning on Hurricane Michael. If you missed the live stream I did earlier, I read a good chunk of the chapter. Well, I read about a fourth of it, but took me longer than I thought. There's a lot of content in this book. Chapter 20, Murder by Numbers, the Celebrity Kill Code. Now, this chapter right here, Chapter 20, it's over 150 pages long. It is a book in a book, truly. The chapter on shootings is well over 100 pages long, too. So, I mean, this book is like several books in one book, and you get it all for $5. You can't beat it. Chapter 21, it couldn't have been scripted any better. Undeniable evidence of rigged professional and collegiate sports. And every single day we can add on to this chapter. Chapter 22, the numbers of our lives, family, and loved ones. Does God speak through numbers? This book is about the organic side of the code, because as you learned in the beginning, the reason that there's 26 letters in the alphabet is because it has to do with Kabbalah and the core belief that God created the world by merging the letter with the number. So this last chapter is kind of me shedding light on the fact that, yeah, there actually is something organic at work with letters and numbers, and pretty much anyone can prove this to themselves. And you know, it goes to show in a way why people are contriving these rituals and numbers and letters and dates every single day. It's as if they want to play God, or they want to mess with the organic mathematical nature of this world. And then the outro is the lessons of Father CR, the problem with secrets and the power of knowledge. The story of Father CR, he's the founder of the Rosicrucians who became the Freemasons. The story is that he came back to his native land after studying down in the biblical lands, and he learned all these ancient secrets, and he wanted to bring them back and share them with his people. And when he got back, he was so excited to share them. But the problem was nobody wanted to hear about it, and people did not like learning these things that he had to share, and he became an outcast. So he created a secret society. And I write a little bit about that, what I think about that. And I think for anyone who's a truth seeker and speaker, they can kind of relate with that story. You know, finding out important information and sharing it with others and being shunned or made fun of or rejected or stereotyped or called a tinfoil hatter or whatever. And, you know, some people even feel like I do that to them with the flat earth stuff because I do not care for the flat earth. And to me, it's not about demonizing people for their opinions or beliefs. It's just that the flat earth is a very obvious psyop that's detrimental to the truth community. And it's very aggressive and it's filled with very ignorant and stupid people and haters and people that just, they're no good. And that's not true about everyone who's into flat earth, but it's true about a lot of people in that community. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of a overview. Looks like I lost my place again. This thing loves to skip around. Thanks for just buying the book, Mary. I appreciate it. 2 people just bought the book while I was reading about the index. That was nice. Thank you. Yeah, the phone sound's off here. I'll turn the phone sound on so we can hear if somebody buys. But 2 people did buy in the last 3 minutes. So we'll see if anybody else buys. The ringer was off. It's on now. Ben, the reason you're not getting notified, I guarantee you out of the 20 some thousand people subscribed to this channel, very few are getting notifications for when I post a video. For the last 3 weeks, my views are way down. If you go to my channel and click videos and look at the views of videos for the last 3 weeks compared to how they were 3 weeks before. You know, the average video was getting 10,000 or more views over 3 weeks ago. The average video right now is getting around 2,000 views. So 5 times as less, which means nobody's getting notified. And the reason YouTube does that is because when a video gets more views, then it's more likely to show up in more people's feeds. So they are trying to minimize the impact of my work and keeping it from reaching, you know, new audiences. And they've been very successful at that because the book sales have been cut in more than half for the last 3 weeks too, doing a fraction of the sales I was doing before the mass censorship. But it could be worse. You know, I've had 20 channels deleted since June of 2017. And so far, this channel has received minimal censorship. I've had 1 video deleted since I came back. That was for showing the album cover of Supertramp Breakfast in America. Apparently, for showing the album cover in a video, that violated the copyright of Supertramp. So, got that video a strike for that. And I also just had a video, the video I did on Snowchia Mosley, the Rite Aid shooter. That video just got censored today. They didn't delete the video, but they put an age restriction on it, which I don't exactly understand because I'm pretty sure that there's no reason for it to be restricted, but it did. Yeah, I'm fine. The reason I probably sound different is probably because of the position I'm in right now. Normally, I'm sitting up straight when I'm talking, but I'm sort of like in a laid back position right now. So I don't know. Probably just impacts the way my voice comes out. Am I considering translating my work into other languages? Well, that would be a difficult thing to do because I'm decoding the English language, and the numerical values of the words in other languages are probably not the same. Rich wants to call into Gematria Effect tonight and ask people to help promote the work. I do wish more people would share the work. Absolutely. And Rich has done a great job. He set up a page on Facebook, Daily Dose of Gematria, and so far it's not getting the attention it should. But I can relate with that because when I first found out about this work, I tried to share it on Facebook, and nobody had anything to say. So Mr. E-Man says, make a commercial for the book. You know who made a lot of commercials for their book that did not help them out at all? Was True Theory. And I had True Theory on my radio program to help him sell his book. And for those of you who know True Theory, good guy, does great work. Because his book didn't sell, he had to go back into the mainstream world, and he's a mainstream guy right now, working the 9 to 5. And he didn't want to have to do that, but he didn't have the support for his research, and that's what happened. So, in recent weeks, I've gotten a lot of people complaining that I'm selling the book. They're telling me I should give it out for free, that I started a Patreon. They're saying I sold out, but it's like, I don't know what some people have done their whole lives. I don't know if they've always had somebody pay their bills for them or what, but the reason I was able to do what I did for free for 5 years is because I used up all my own savings, money that I'd saved up from working in the past. I used up all that money, Nothing happened in those 5 years. The movement didn't start. We didn't take over the federal government. Nothing happened. So for me to continue to do this work, I have to have some sort of revenue. And, you know, thankfully there's some revenue coming in now. People are finally buying the book at a decent rate. People signed up for the Patreon. So it also takes resources to get places. If I can build up some resources, then we'll be able to do things. Travel, create a news network, hire people. Yeah, hardly anyone's getting any notifications for my videos. This is no secret. There's a sale. Thank you. That one's from RVP. They're not going to nuke the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's already got the eye of the masses, but I hadn't heard that. Oh, there's another sale. Thank you. I'd never heard that the nuclear football, that the briefcase that supposedly the president carries around, I'd never heard that it weighed 45 pounds before. That's interesting. How do you get the book? Camille, if you look below the video, just barely below, you should see where it says buy letters and numbers book here. And then you click on that link for the Etsy listing, and it should take you to this page. And you can click here, add to cart. And when you add to cart, it's going to ask you a bunch of questions like your home mailing address and stuff. This book's not going to be sent to your physical address. This is an ebook. It's a digital instant download once you buy it. You'll get an email, and in that email, you just click the link and it'll download right to your computer. And you get the entire 773-page book and the cover art. But the reason it asks for your physical address is because if you've never bought anything with Etsy before, you're setting up your Etsy account. And then that way your information's saved with Etsy. And if you ever purchase anything on there that needs to be mailed to your address, then you won't have to do that the next time. Your account will be set up. So a lot of people, they fill in the address and then they expect that this book's going to show up in their mailbox, which, I wish Etsy would let people bypass the physical mail thing, but that's just the way their system's set up. The good thing about Etsy though is they're a safe service. I mean, they're not one of these websites that gets hacked and loses everybody's data and information. They're pretty reputable. So my mom sold on there for nearly a decade, and that's why I decided to use it because I knew that they were reputable. I appreciate you sharing the work, everyone. Thank you. Have I seen the film Thrive? Near its end, what the narrator states is what we all wonder. Why don't they want the masses to know the truth? What do they fear happening? Well, eh, have you read the Talmud? I think that's why they don't want the masses to know the truth. Because, like it says in there, if people knew the truth, then they'd be out for blood. I want everybody to go watch that roast of Bruce Willis so they can hear Joseph Gordon Levitt say, if that name was any more Jewish, it would control the weather. I mean, like, what does that even mean? What does that mean? We need to get a forum going and podcast to hit the airwaves. Well, you know what Frank probably doesn't know is that I spent a bunch of money to have a really nice website built called All for Truth, and it had a forum. It was like the Facebook for truth seekers. It was awesome. And the only problem was that the people who built it for me, who I paid to build it, they um, they turned out to be no good in the end, and it seemed like it was all part of a sick setup. And they ended up deleting the website and speaking out against me, and it was pretty devastating because I thought that website was going to take us places. I thought it was going to become the Facebook for truth seekers and give people a community and a way for people to meet in their community and organize. But it didn't work out. So anyway, I want to do it again, but I need to find more reputable people who can do the same thing, but not sabotage the project after it's done. So Richard Quinn says he doesn't get notified on the Patreon. Go in if you have the app. Go into your settings and make sure your notifications are on. You should, but you know when my Patreon content comes out anyway, so it's easy to check there because there's only going to be posts from one person, myself. Gematria schools every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. West Coast time. You can order the book on your phone, and you can read it on your phone too. All you need to make sure is that there's a PDF reader on your phone, and if there isn't, it's free to download a PDF reader. If you just go to your app store or your whatever download Play Store, whatever it's called, just download Adobe PDF Reader. It's probably already on your phone, but if it's not, free download, then you can read the book. Well, you guys, I think I better hop off here because the radio show starts pretty soon, and I want to do a few more things before the radio show begins. Hey, one more sale. Thank you. Somebody says I should use Instagram. Honestly, I don't know how to use Instagram. That website confuses me. I don't know how to use Snapchat. I don't know how to use Instagram. So Yeah, Frank says I should go on Joe Rogan. I doubt Joe Rogan would ever have me on his show, but to Joe Rogan's credit, I did see him introduce Gematria to his audience one time, and it made me think, I bet Joe Rogan's been watching my videos. Mr. E-Man says he'd buy a hoodie. Hey, down in the description, there's merchandise. There's hoodies down there. You can get the What is 47 campaign. You can get the Coincidence Theorist. What is the Q movement? The Q movement is a movement to dupe the people seeking truth. The Q movement is out to make people believe that Donald Trump is the answer to the New World Order. That, I mean, that is their main purpose. So the Q movement essentially is a joke. Mike Prince says, do you believe in God? Get that question all the time. And it's like, man, I have videos that I talk about my belief in God, you know. My question to you, Mike, is have you ever done a search? Have you ever searched anything? Have you ever like gone to a search bar and typed in a question and hit enter? Because I bet if you typed in Zachary K. Hubbard and the word God, a video or two would come up. But there used to be a lot more since my channel was deleted. I know some are still up. What I am not, though, is religious. I am not religious. Michelle Gardner, send me an email at gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com. Michelle Gardner, you send me an email at gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com. I will help you out. All right, just seeing if there's any last questions or comments I should answer real quick. Hey, Christos is here. Thank you, Christos. Christos is one of the men who donated money, so we were able to hook up some people with some free books. And Christos donated $25, so I ended up giving out a copy for each dollar. Let's see. Somebody asked me if 773, the number of pages in the books attached to any Gematria. I swear to God, this is true. I didn't know how many pages long the book was until when I put it all together as one PDF file, because I wrote the book in Microsoft Word and I saved it chapter by chapter and, intro, outro, cover page. So when I put it all together, I saw that it came out to 773 pages. And when I gave it to the publisher at that time, they said, you can't add any more to this book and it might already be too long. You might have to take some out. But then they ended up not publishing it anyway, so it didn't matter. But what I noticed is 773 is the 137th prime number. And then 137 is the 33rd prime number. And of course, Kabbalah in Hebrew sums to 137. And since the book is largely, this whole code is largely from Kabbalah, I thought, how appropriate that the book's 773 pages. But yeah, I swear that was not it was not intentional. I was going to say not an accident, and I guess it wasn't an accident either. It just seemed like it was just, I guess it was meant to be, but it definitely wasn't intentional. It's just one of those things that surprised me. So. Markel, if you're waiting for the hardback, what you could help to make the hardback become a reality, or what you could do to help make the hardback become a reality, is purchase the electronic version for just $5. and get that sales number up, because like one publisher told me that if there was evidence of a demand for like 10,000 sales, then they might be interested. So if you want the hardback, $5 isn't too much to invest towards the process. Chantel says, "How many books have I sold so far?" Okay, here, last thing I'll show you, and then you guys can all see how many books I've sold. All you have to do is go to the listing. You go to the listing, and you click up here on this part, the account. It'll tell you how many sales I've done. So we're at 3,704 sales right now. So still got a ways to go to get to that 10,000 mark. And for all of you who haven't purchased it, you can be a part of it. And if you have any trouble downloading the book, if you have any trouble, oh, there it is. There's multiple places where you can click it. Ask a question, or on this page, you can go to contact shop owner. Those messages, they show up right here for me. And a lot of people will write, they're saying, "I'm having trouble downloading the book." If you have trouble downloading, just send me a message. And if you can just put your email in it, I'll just send you the book right away, right to your email address. And once I send it, nobody has trouble downloading that copy. But not too many people have a problem, but the people who do, I always take care of them as fast as I can. So the other thing you can do, if you have not bought the book, is you can come read the reviews. You got to click the button to see them all. You got to click the view all 70 reviews. Love it. Worth a lot more than price currently. James is right. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances by the numbers. 5 stars. Hey, there's another sale. Guess we're up at 37.05. Invaluable book. Thank you. Zach is a real truth master. Become a real truth seeker and take the time to better yourself and see all the veils of illusion dissolve when you become the best version of yourself, as you will have the code of this realm. Mr. Hubbard is as kind as he is knowledgeable. Well, sometimes I am an asshole. There is no better value you will come across in your lifetime than this PDF. I mean it. Spread the knowledge and the insight Zach has worked so hard to uncover, proven as you delve into the remarkable content. This guy is a real superhero, telling us the keys to defeat the bad guys. Very nice review from Joe. Isn't that funny? Joe and then a different Joe. Unless Joe give me 2 reviews, but I don't think you can. I think it only allows you to do 1 review. Today, when I was giving out free books, there were 3 emails in a row from a guy named Jimmy. And at first I thought it was the same guy who asked 3 times in a row. And then I noticed they all had different email address. So hopefully it wasn't Jimmy under 3 different emails, but I sent each Jimmy an email or a book. So I hope Jimmy, it really was 3 different Jimmys. I thought it was, potentially it was, and it was a little coincidence. And part of the reason I imagine it was 3 different Jimmys, hey, there's another book sale. When I would drive for Uber and Lyft, I thought it was so strange how often I would drop off somebody and then pick up the next person with the exact same name. And one time it was Tim's. I picked up 3 Tims in a row, and I thought, my dad's name's also Tim. My only friend out here where I live now, who I used to know back in Seattle, my only friend in this town, his name's Tim also. And we knew each other from in Seattle, but he moved back here a year before I did. But yeah, just, it's my dad's name, and I always finding my way around Tim's, and I'll never forget the day that I picked up 3 Tims in a row. Uber and Lyft. I was like, what is going on? Everybody's named Tim. But yeah, come read the reviews. A lot of good reviews for the book. Some people buy the book and they don't realize it's an ebook. And I've refunded some people. Some people will ask for a refund because they don't want the ebook. And everybody I've refunded, I've let them keep the book too. I say, well, you know what? You just keep the book. But yeah, here's your $5 back. No problem. So understand it is an electronic book. It's an instant download. You should get it as soon as you buy it. And you're more than welcome to print it out. And you can print out as many copies. And you're even welcome to share the electronic file. I mean, you can mail it to your friends and family. But I'd appreciate it if you said, like, hey, this guy worked real hard on this book and it's only $5. If you like it, please support it. But we'll leave it right there. I got to jump back on the radio in just a moment, and I got to eat some food, and I want to do one more decode before I get on the radio. So, cheers, everybody. If you want to do the radio show, I'm going to put a little comment here, tfrlive.com, every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Free to call into, free to listen to. Thanks, Christos. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks, moderators. And that's all for now. Until next time, Truth Seeker.